Ladies and gentlemen, we need to transfer the figure, all the figures that we got into this. We'll do that. Thereafter, we make the formal announcement. So anything that we are going to do now is illegal until it is finally announced. Say you agree with me. If you don't agree with me, I have a lawyer that I will call you. All right, thank you very much. Baba Blue, do you agree with me? Baba Blue, do you agree with me? So we do the transcription now so that we can move forward. Thank you very much.
Long night, and we are gradually getting to the end of or should decide, because all the 30 local government results have been announced. It's now time to do some calculation so that we will rejoin them and probably give you a final result. It's been 17 against 13. PDP in charge of 17 local government areas, while APC got 1 in 13 local government areas. And I still have in the studio with me Bola Bakari. Thank you for staying this long with us.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
And it's been a discussion behind the scene for quite since 1:30 p.m. a.m. that this declaration started. It's been like about 5 hours waiting, and the waiting game is gradually getting to an end.
Yeah.
How do you see? Are you surprised about the game? 17 over 17 against 13.
Like I said earlier, politics is a game of numbers. And if you remember too, I said anything can happen. If you remember, these two candidates, I call them the two majors. They were the same two that ran
In 2018.
And then it was a close call.
Yeah.
Oyetola won by just about
Yes.
400 and less than 500 votes.
Yes.
And then it shows us that our democracy is being robust. It's being robust. All parties concerned are working at it, and then everybody now knows that all you need to do is go out there, pick up your PVCs, and go and vote for your person, irrespective of what. We have seen that, really. Honestly, if you look at the figures, the APC is the incumbent government. The PDP is the opposition, and they did a good job of it. Because if you look at areas where APC won, it's all close calls, very close calls, very close calls. Short of the fact that, okay, the Oyetola won in his own local government, which was Borikwe, by about maybe 60% of the votes in his own local government.
Yes.
But if you compare that to what Adeleke did in his own area,
Yes,
in his own area it was close to about over 70%. So the thing is, I believe our democracy is very robust as we speak. Very robust as we speak. And then I would like to say one thing, that from all indications, what we've seen, the information we've gotten, it's peaceful, it's fair, and then I guess we are moving forward. Because I call all these off-season elections as being litmus test for INEC. We started out with Edo. We went to Anambra, we went to Ekiti, now we are in Osun. I guess INEC, as we speak, should have been able to get its acts together, which they're proving to us as we speak. And then by the time we go to general elections, Nigerians can sit back and say, well, okay, whatever comes out of these general elections is something that is going to be good for everybody.
But one other issue we observed here, the total number of registered voters, for instance, in Ife Central,
Yes.
113,232 registered voters, but only
41 thereabout.
that is in Efe East. But
Okay.
in Efe Central, 113,232 registered voters.
Okay.
And out of that number, only 33,413 participated in the election. Is that not the number, a kind of apathy there?
Yes, that is the language. You see, in politics, what you say as a politician to the polity, to the electorate is one thing. What the electorate is going to do is another. Like I said earlier, our politics is now beginning to have a kind of a better face. There is a right for you for voter apathy, which shows that inducement did not work. Nobody was induced. If we were induced to probably go and vote according to whoever gave you what. But if you feel that, okay, I don't feel like doing anything here. That is the language that brings in that element of voter apathy. When voters now look at the situation of Ghana, they can tell themselves that is their right, though, fundamental right, because that franchise of one man, one vote is your franchise. You can afford not to vote. You can afford to vote. But when you don't find where to vote, you can hold on to your vote. There are other elections that are going to happen. State houses of assembly, the Senate, the House of Rep, the presidency, you have all those in the offing. So you can as well do that. But as we speak, I guess the parties need to do more. Need to educate the people more. Need to tell the people that vote for me not based on what I am going to give you, but based on your conscience.
Okay.
And that conscience is translated to apathy, to use that word. Voter apathy. To have 100 plus, and then you're having less than 30% of the registered voters.
Okay, we'll still come back to you, but my colleague, Fisayo, my senior colleague, is in Osogbo.
Yes, that's
I think he will be giving us some smiles because the waiting game is gradually getting to an end. It's been a very busy period for him, and he's on white. He's even smiling. He's even smiling.
He hasn't slept.
He's my host. He's my host. So, so let's hear from you. What is the mood like in Osogbo there? Can we hear from you the mood?
Over my shoulder, we have a studio, mini studio, on a temporary basis here at the INEC state headquarters in Osun, and you can see that the final collation is on now, tabulating local government by local government, seeing how the 15 candidates fared. Of course, in the course of the night, we saw how each, results came in, and the mood and the tension are in the room, especially as expressed in the body language of the party agents and the objections they were raising. I just wanted to also, make my own intervention on your very lively discussion with your guest. It looks a bit fresher than you. I think he just joined you this meeting. Is that we at the early part of the day, that was yesterday, we didn't really get too much information about what some of the antics of some of the parties or their agents, or as well as some political talks in the course of the day. But now we have seen that some people are still bent on disrupting the process this time. So my question to your guest is that what can really serve as a deterrent also on a permanent basis to make sure that we have a smooth sail, especially in the 2023 general election?
We'll still get back to you very soon, but one critical issue I want my guest here to look at is that of rejected votes. In some centers, about 1,000 plus were rejected. Do you think there was no enough sensitization? Because for votes to be rejected, probably the thumb printing was done in borders, in between two parties. And so what is responsible? Is it about sensitization or what?
You see, it's like, I will always say one thing. Life in itself is work in progress. It is not everybody in Nigeria that is educated. Little wonder we use, now they call it emojis, something that people illiterates can relate to. Like some parties have the broom, some parties have the umbrella that does not need you to read anything. Those were put there for people that cannot read. At the same time, like you rightly said, there is that element of sensitization education that make sure your thumbprint is within the borders. Unfortunately, maybe when they were teaching them, they say, okay, vote for the broom. And then they say, oh, you just see the broom. Out of negligence and ignorance, they supersede that space. We cannot afford not to have that. But like I said, life is work in progress. The people that made the mistake now will not make that same mistake again, because the party is concerned will have been able to know that, okay, this is what we have on ground. We lost 1,000 votes based on the fact that some people couldn't thumbprint properly. Like I said, there are a lot of elections oncoming. So they need to educate the people more so that we can have a better position. Like if I can revert back to our correspondent there in Osun, that is saying, okay, we have a little bit of a fracas here and there and the rest of it. All the same, that is still an element of politicking. It is an element of politicking because if you look at our average Nigerian, even an average human being, everybody wants to win. The moment you lose, you feel bad. It is a human continence for you to feel bad when something it goes wrong from the way you want it. Like he's saying it right to us that, oh, right now it went okay, but at the same time we are beginning to have feelers that some people are not satisfied with the results. Naturally, there will be people that are not satisfied with the results. And what we can do is what the government in power has done, what INEC is clamoring for, what our security apparatus is doing. If you don't behave, we apprehend you, we keep you somewhere until we can prosecute you.
Look at this. Let's talk about the BVAS. Because in the Electoral Act, if the BVAS malfunctions and the people in that particular polling unit are deprived of voting, even when you replace the previous one,
Okay.
the Electoral Act permits that election can be conducted within 24 hours, rescheduled, and conducted within 24 hours. So we are quite apprehensive, but we thank God everything worked perfectly, and so there is no extension. So how would you assess INEC on that, so that even in 2023 elections we can experience this near perfect situation?
As with everything electronic, they call it glitch. Even your phone, you can pick it up at times and you don't get a connection. There is a glitch somewhere along the line. You work in terms of, we are living in a world of percentages. If the percentage of performance, the percentage of good is close to 80-90%, you're good to go. And there are provisions that says, okay, like what happened in some PUs. All the party agents agreed to what transpired there and then. In the case of, okay, the BVAS did not work. In the case of, we cannot do this. In the case, all the cases that happened was not a unilateral thing. The INEC agent there called all parties concerned, do we do this? So it became a collective situation, which is what democracy is all about. The collective idea, the collective will, the collective, what can I call it? It's a collective thing that, okay, we all agree to do this. And that was what happened in most cases. Electronic malfunction, which is it is allowed. Because I'll throw it back at you, even your phone has glitches at times.
I think, the main thing is happening in Osogbo.
Yes.
So we cannot just ignore our Osogbo studio.
Of course,
and
yes.
As a senior colleague, I have to give him that maximum respect before I receive query. So, Fisayo, please, let's get a feel of it. What is really happening in Osogbo?
That you didn't quite hear my first. Some measure of improvement by the electoral management body and the electoral process.
I think we will rejoin my colleague in a jiffy when they put that audio issue in proper perspective. So let's come back. The issue of overvoting. I was really surprised because when the electoral officers from Ife East were giving their breakdown,
Right.
they made mention of overvoting, and with BVAS and all these card reader, the permanent voters card issues, I was thinking that the issue of overvoting should be history now. So, what is your take on that?
You see, the thing is, there are bound to be mistakes here and there. If you notice, there are instances where the younger ones are getting older, they're becoming 18, they are picking up PVCs, and they're in a particular area. And INEC has so worked it out that they don't want any PU to be overcrowded. So in the process where new entrants are in, they start dividing them up into new PUs. For every election, there will always be new PUs. Now INEC is saying they're extending, go and pick up your PVC, they're giving it till the end of July. That means there will be more voters coming on. And INEC has to divide them so there won't be overclogged at a particular PU. There are instances where the people will come and then check the register on the billboard. Oh, this is my name. I have to vote here. But unfortunately, electronically, his name might be somewhere else. Maybe somewhere very close by, maybe a kilometer away where he cannot get to. But the idea is, I still believe it is work in progress. Those people, in some cases, it's not because they don't have the right to vote, they don't have the PVC, but the unfortunate thing is their name is not there on that electronic device. You mentioned the BVAS bimodal, what have you.
Yeah.
It is a case of if your name is not on that specific, it's just like if I don't have your name in my phone book, there is no way I can relate to you. If you call me, it's just going to be a number and I might not respond to you. So INEC in some cases divides the people, the voters, so that there won't be an overcrowd at a specific place. But at the same time, like I said, it is work in progress and we're going to get better on a regular basis.
And that of issue of violence recorded in some polling units, to the extent that one of the agents even said a party agent was shot and still in the hospital. And when police deployed 21,000 personnel and the civil defense 11,000 plus and other security agencies, alarms were raised that they want to, militarize the state. But even with this number, we still experience cases of violence. What is your take? Do you think it's an attitude that they need to really work hard to change?
I'll say one thing, I'm not holding brief for anybody because I don't hold brief for people, but I'm a positive thinker. And that my positive thinking tells me that, okay, the numbers that were brought in, like you rightly said, the police came in with 21,000, NSCDC came in with 11, and a whole lot of other security architecture apparatus were there. But that does not negate the fact that the population of the people is more than 20 times the population of the security apparatus we have on ground. Also, remember the fact that it's a natural thing for a human being. If you lose, or if you see that you're losing, your countenance might go a little bit haywire. You might be forced to react the way you don't like, for which you might say sorry tomorrow, but there and then, you don't feel good. That is one thing you have to look about Nigerians. And the funny thing is, from the information we got, and which you said, which you alluded to, it was in Osun, there are close on 4,000 PUs. That is 763 to be exact.
Yes, 3,763. Yeah.
To be exact. So can you imagine in 3,000 we had fracas in maybe one or two? That shows us that we are still doing good. INEC is doing good. Our security apparatus is doing good. There will be situations like that. It will be mitigated at the end of the day. Because one thing you're saying now is, if you bring that much people to a state, what happens if it's general elections? When it's general elections, there's no way you can bring 21,000 police and 11,000 CDS to one state. No. because you have to spread them all over the 36 plus 1 states of the federation. But the thing is, this is the learning process, and I believe, I'm telling you this for free, INEC is doing a good job as is. When it comes to security, it's not the duty of INEC, really.
Exactly.
INEC calls in all the security architecture, the apparatus we have in Nigeria. We are going to have an elections in Osun, bring in the apparatus that we need so that we can have a free and fair and trouble-free, violence-free elections. They came in, and at the same time, as human beings, at times we go haywire. If you're losing, you go haywire.
And one other issue, the President signed the Electoral Act 2022.
That's right.
And after the Electoral Act, 2 major elections, Ekiti and this election, Osun.
Right. Osun.
And they are perfect by human standard.
Okay.
And the president, the president, in several occasions, promised that he will hand over to his successor electoral system that Nigerians will be proud of. Do you think we have started seeing that in the process already?
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. I mentioned it earlier. You see, these off-season elections, they're off-season because they've gone to court to do this or do that, and then, like some Nigerians will say, some elections are not via the electorate, some elections are via the courts. That is what has given us all these off-season elections. And then in the space of 1 year, we've had 4 off-season elections. Edo, Anambra, Ekiti, Osun. And if you run a trajectory from those 4 elections, INEC has been improving as we came along. INEC has been improving. So if you're a positive thinker, you think along the lines that, okay, whichever way it's going to work out, since we are improving along these lines, positive thinking along with it, and the will for INEC to make sure that this thing works out. It is one thing for the president to put pen to paper. It takes people to implement what the president is saying. And INEC is trying as we speak. We've had 4 examples. For God's sake, 4 examples. That's a good one. And then when we talk about all the little anomalies along the line, they're not too bad. Work out the percentages. If we're talking about percentages, we can give INEC a pass mark.
Okay, in 2018, the incumbent governor scored 255,505 votes.
Yes.
And Ademola Adeleke scored, of PDP, then scored 255,023 votes. That was a moonslide victory for the incumbent. And that the percentage was quite low in terms of voters turnout, but from the figures we have seen, the INEC has not given us the final figure. But common sense can inform us that comparatively is quite a nice one.
That's right.
So going forward, what do you think political parties and other civil society groups can do to increase the level of participation by the electorates in the process as we prepare for 2023?
Thank you. It is not enough to tell the people, either from political parties, from NGOs, from civil society organizations, and whatever you have, to tell the people, don't take money, don't take any inducement, don't get bribed, don't get your vote is not for sale. What they should do more is sensitize the people. You made a mention of something earlier, that some of these our not too learned mothers and sisters and fathers out there made the mistake of thumb printing along the borders, which created a case of the votes being abandoned. Let them work at educating the people more. I'll tell you this, Nigerians are getting more educated, Nigerians are getting more aware. The level of awareness is now better. The average Nigerian now knows that he sits back and says, no, that my franchise of one man, one vote, I have to exercise it appropriately. And honestly, we're working towards that. And that is the situation we're seeing as we speak. It is not going to happen in one day. It is, like I said earlier, work in process.
And not a project.
Okay, I like that. It's a process and not a project.
Yeah.
Because the project has a
time limit.
Time frame.
Yes, within this period we
have to finish this.
But this is a process.
This is a process.
So we grow in it. And let me also get your feelings about the issue of vote buying. That of Ekiti, even INEC, the police security agencies, were not too impressed with the way money politics took center stage, and EFCC made some arrests as well. But in this Osun state, we can't give report, but from the feelers, how do you judge it comparatively Osun and Ekiti in terms of vote buying?
You see, when we talk about vote buying, we need to be circumspect. If I come to your house and give you a bag of rice and a tin of tomato, you will take it because you are hungry. And I tell you, I'm not selling my vote. I'm not asking for your vote, but I know that your kid needs to eat, so I'm giving you this. You will gladly take it. I have bought half of your soul because you were hungry. You see, we have to look at it, put it in perspective, good perspective. When you say vote buying, what do you mean vote buying? Somebody doling money out for you in terms of like what we had in the terms of delegates to conventions. That is what I call grand style vote buying. But when it comes to the local level, you watch out that certain things do happen. The local man believes this man who is my representative is doing good in Abuja. If my kid has to go to school and I don't have the money, I am going to ask him.
Okay.
So that happens, and then the element of vote buying per se, in most cases, before vote buying happens there and then at the polling units.
But now it's through the back door. Thank you very much. We'll take it back to him because
I like that.
because because my colleague Fisayo is back, and I think the technical issue has been properly addressed. So let's hear from Fisayo because he is the one at the spot, on the spot rather,
That's
to
right.
give us a feel of what is really happening in Osun State. What is really happening in Osun State.
Thank you very much, Mio Gidi. I've been enjoying your very lively discussion with your guests. And we have been here. You said we're getting close to that formal announcement. Yes, we are getting close. It's been what, Christian and Muslim people will call the vigil here. And people are not sleeping at all, especially those with vested interest, party agents and all that. Have seen the arguments back and forth. Of course, it's the part of our democracy that is very engaging. And you are seeing, how it's playing out on that floor. It's just over our shoulder here. We have a temporary studio, NTA studio, live in the state headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission, and we're right here, just about 10 yards from where the results will be announced. And you can feel that it's getting close to that hour, even while we were was trying to just change to come for a presentation. We could see some party supporters trying to get closer to the INEC state headquarters, and then the uniformed men as well as members of the different security agencies stopping vehicles, not allowing them to get close to the venue, because of course we're all expecting the results to be formally announced, and then the winners and the rest of us can perhaps go to bed later on this morning. I just want to first, thank your guests for one of two of the interventions that is made in terms of Nigeria's democracy. But of course, if you have been watching the Nigerian Television Authority throughout the coverage of this election, you've noticed that we went to all the nook and crannies of Osun State, and we brought back a report of a seamless exercise. But of course, on the floor, we saw some party agents and some people with interest coming up with some reports of violence and people targeting electoral officials as well, which is not very good, especially as this is seen as the last point of call, the last litmus test before we go for the big one, which is the 2023 general election. So I want to ask your guest, what should we do in terms of wielding the big stick, or what do we do to de-incentivize, these recurring cases of violence, especially for those who might be thinking that it is not going their way. So if I can't have the candy, you can't too. Let's smash the boxes, let's destroy the machines and go home.
My brother, the situation, like I said, is a human factor thing. Because if you're losing, the normal human factor says you want to fight back. The rules are there. Mr. President signed the Electoral Act. INEC has guidelines and policies. But at the same time, people are found wanton. What we do is simple. We are living in a world where work is in progress. The political parties should go beyond my person should win at all costs. You should be able to educate them some more. You should be able to tell them that, look, this is not a do or die affair. You know what? We still practice that element of do or die affair in our politique. And that happens because somebody somewhere has given some money somewhere, some inducement somewhere that makes a man believe if I don't do what I've been paid for, I am going to be in trouble with that person. But we are Nigerians, we are moving forward. Like you alluded to, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 off-season elections. And like you said, we're getting set for the general elections. And I believe one thing, we have been able to move forward, and then we've been able to imbibe in the people. Honestly, most of the work, Mr. President has done his own. INEC has given out guidelines. It is the political parties. The political parties need to sensitize the people some more. Honestly, if there is nobody somewhere telling the other boy, go and fight that person, go and hurt that person, go and create violence, it will not happen. But I'm telling you one thing, I am a positive thinker, and we as Nigerians, we are positive thinkers, and I believe we are moving in the right direction of work in progress for a better general elections.
Thinkers as well, and we have been proactive at this time because we have a number of our crew out already to get set for the final announcement, so that we get reactions from the candidates. At least 5 or 4 of them, we get them live to get their reactions to the final results, the announcement as well. But again, we need to interrogate this process, because first of all, kudos to the security agencies that collaborated to deliver this election in terms of providing security. We had instances that were alluded to on the floor while the results were being released and announced, that in spite of some of the brigandage, policemen of the Nigerian police force were able to retrieve some and apprehend the main perpetrators in the course of this. And of course, the language and the body language, the way they behaved throughout, at least in places we went to, we have to give kudos, especially to the Nigerian police force. It seems that even they have been trained in the language and the attitude to people. They were cautious, but they still were firm and throughout the process. So I think that's one improvement. On the other side is that it seems as if we become more creative once there's a barrier to what we want to achieve. So it seems as if we are building up new measures to counter what some of these elements get up to. They also devise new means, just like Mie alluded to. We still, in spite of BVAS, bimodal voters accreditation system, we are still getting overvoted in our elections, because there should be an accreditation system that will show that you have been duly accredited before you can go and vote, and that is in one machine. It's being done concurrently. It's happening just as you're getting there, and still we're still having cases of overvoting. But apart from that, we are looking forward to the big one. And so I need to ask you, what have you taken away from some of the things you've heard on the Nigerian Television Authority, what you've watched in terms of our coverage this time in terms of the elections, and what you have seen? What should the election management body and of course all the stakeholders be looking at in the 2023 general election, taking away from your observations of this particular election?
The best bet around it is for us to improve on the situation on hand. We are not doing badly. I'll run back and inference back to what has happened over 4 elections, 4 off-season elections. Edo, Anambra, Ekiti, Osun. Honestly, there has been an improvement because we have followed through all these 4 elections, which I'm sure you were part of too. But what we're doing now is there is room and there is need for more sensitization. It is not enough for INEC to throw out guidelines at us and tell us this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. The political parties have a big role to play here. They need to tell the electorate, tell their followers that this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do, this is against the law. I'll tell you one thing. The average member of the electorate that is a chronic politician will listen to his godfather or the man who wants to become something without reasoning. Most of them don't reason. It's high time we teach them the element of reasoning. Who's going to do that? It is not INEC. It is the political parties that will tell their followers, do not do this. And honestly, that is the case for all of us, because I believe one thing: nobody would tell me I am not a politician. We are all political animals. We need to educate ourselves some more so that we can have better democracy based on good politicking.
Of course, like I told you, we have our reporters on standby, trying to, of course, get some access in different parts of the state. We have candidates that, of course, are waiting on tenterhooks to get the final results. We are also waiting to cover their reactions as well as once we get access to them. And of course, we are also having an eye on the coalition center. The pencils are up, the biros they are trying to make sure that they cross their T's and dot their I's before they come and make that announcement. But let me leave you with Mayor Ogidi for a few moments because, of course, Mayor Ogidi is not a mere presenter. So good morning to you.
Thank you very much, Fisayo. Definitely we will get back to you because you are our host. So this show is Osun State Show. So definitely we will give you that credit and be joining you. So we've been joined by another guest, a public affairs analyst, Ibrahim Modibo. You are welcome to Osun Desai Studio.
Thank you very much, man.
We are going to a very critical stage in this process, post-election.
Yes.
Results will be announced any moment from now.
Sure.
What advice will you give? Because the winner should be humble in victory. The loser should be also gracious in defeat. So, what advice do you think they should give to their supporters so that after the elections, the peace we have experienced throughout this period will be sustained?
Thank you very much, Mayor. I wish to commend the NTA for a wonderful coverage. I've been following all through. I have not slept much because you've been able to give us bit by bit analysis of almost everything that has been happening. And I must commend also my good friend, Salah, for a wonderful job, wonderful analysis.
Thank you.
Having stated this, let me, by way of introduction, say that Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari, in his patriotic and nationalistic intervention in the process of good governance, when he came in, he had a tripodal structure of fighting corruption, to tame insecurity, and also fix the economy. And also, by the way, by wayside, part of the package he has is to is to open the political space for mass participation, and also to instill credible electoral process that could make democracy viable and vibrant for Nigerians. Having stated this, if you look at the elections so far conducted by INEC, especially the states Edo, Anambra, Ekiti, and now Osun, I must commend INEC. I think they've been improving day by day and they've been doing very well. Honestly, the BVAS, to me, is a game changer. It is a time that has come. It is a litmus test towards 2023 elections. And if you look at the BVAS, the performance profile of the BVAS, that is the bimodal verification machines, I think it has been very impressive. There is no perfect election anywhere in the world.
Of course.
So where you have shortfalls, where you have overvoting, it's a normal electoral process, democratically the worldwide. And therefore, Nigeria is not an exception. Even a human being has vices and follies. We have foibles. We are bound to make mistakes. No man is perfect. We are always 9, not 10. Therefore, these machines are machines. They are bound to fail. Sometimes by virtue of maybe the interconnectivity or by virtue of failure of batteries. Look, it's something that is acceptable. You can't have 100%. But in a situation where we find the electoral process giving us at least 85 to 90% pass mark, even if it is an exam, it is it is first class. So I want to commend INEC under Professor Mahmoud Yakubu for tenacity, conviction, and also for the thought of giving Nigeria an open latitude for a credible electoral process.
Yeah.
He has done very well. And I think the INEC too, the officials, especially the security, I must commend the Inspector General of Police for deploying 21,000 security forces, the police under the DIG, and then also looking at the civil defense deploying about 11,000, and also the Federal Road Safety Corps for maintenance of law and order, and then
traffic
for
control
1,500. Apart from that, if you look at the DSS as well as the EFCC, they've also played a very prominent role in trying to see that they checkmate the issue of vote buying. This is a way to go, and I strongly believe Nigeria is in the pipeline of giving the country a credible, purposeful, and highly articulate political system that could be acceptable worldwide. So in so doing, all this put together, I think the Osun election that I've seen so far, well, unlike before that we had people sitting under trees writing results, this time around the bimodal verification machines have been up and doing. You'll find out that at least to a large extent, there's nothing like recurrent situation where we find people, killing people, maiming people. It has been relatively peaceful, and I think, as human nature, if we have one or thereabout problems here and there, it's something that's insurmountable. It's something that cannot be. I mean, we can always have a leeway in it. We
can learn from it.
We can learn from it,
of course.
So. It's just like the dictates of Judge Santayana, the famous historian. He said, if experience is not retained, infancy is perpetual.
That's right.
Those that forget the past are going to repeat it. So with the experience we've had so far from all these elections put together, on the Anambra, Edo, Ekiti, and now Osun, I think we're in the pipeline. We must commend the government.
Also, the issue of managing post-election situations.
Yes.
How do we go about that?
Yes. You see, post-election situations, there are, well, in any democratic setup, there's bound to be conflict. That's what Karl Marx has always been saying, that the question of conflict and consensus rests in the struggle for material gains. In any society that's divided between the have and the have not, the ruler, the rule, the bourgeoisie and the exploiter, there's bound to be conflict because of interest. So if we have this interest, it has to be aggregated. We have to look at the way of solving it. Nigeria, we have internal political mechanism of solving our problems. Most of the times, you think as if there will be volcanic eruption in terms of political participation. People will go. But at the end of the day, tempers will cool down and we'll have internal mechanism of resolving most of these things. And I'm sure that by the time a winner emerges from these elections, when it's announced, if a normal Democrat should act based on conscience, this election has been largely free and fair. I expect some of these contestants to go and congratulate the winner, because the winner has emerged through a normal democratic process based on acceptability of the people and also based on the issue of choice.
Okay, in terms of the issue of rejected votes was quite high in some places. What do you think was majorly responsible for that? Is it about, lack of information sensitization on the part of the political parties on their members?
Yes, you see, the National Orientation Agency, headed by a very seasoned Democrat and also an academic, Dr. Garba Abari, should be doing. The National Orientation Agency, in close collaboration with the media houses and what have you, should be able to aggregate opinion and then prop up Nigerians on the way to vote. Because most of these votes that we've seen that have been voided, it is because there's not been any clear cut sensitization. As I had Mr. Bakari while coming, he was explaining, there are columns For people that do not know how to read, there's a broom, there's an umbrella, there's something like label, there's a horse. So all these are symbols of the political parties. So if the political parties, in their wisdom, should be able to go into the grassroots in close collaboration with National Orientation Agency and also the media, because the media is central. If you look at the performance of the media in any society, it informs, educates, and also set an agenda. So therefore, the issue of media cannot be overemphasized. It must be brought to the front burner so as to attract, the sort of people. The people must be sensitized. You find out that maybe you see a column where somebody will show a broom or an umbrella, he will go and put in between. So if you put in between the lines, it's voided. So there is the need for people to know where to thumbprint, and also not to print in two places. Or some people might decide to say, look, I have to print there. Oh, let me change my mind. Let me put another one down. You see, it voids. So therefore, there's a need for the political parties to see to the possibilities of educating Nigerians, informing them, and also setting a good agenda for their political parties for credible electoral process in terms of voting capacity.
Okay, let's briefly hear from you about the issue of managing post-election situations.
Honestly, we've sat for the examination. We are waiting for the result of the examination. And by virtue of what you and I have listened to, we've known that, okay, the PDP had 17, the APC had 13, and then the other ones are there. They were grooming them to become good political parties. But the thing is, we need to imbibe one element in Nigeria, and that is the element of you, the winner. Be the first to congratulate the loser. The loser is hurt. Be the first to tell him, my brother, this is politics. We are in this together. This is Osun State. This is our state. We are in this together. So, here is my heart. Let us run this government together. It is magnanimous to do that. Because if you wait for a loser to go and congratulate the winner, it feels bad. Because in most cases, most of all these elections that we have that are off-season, you know why they're off-season? They went to courts. And at the courts, it was reversed. In most cases, most losers, they will say, I am going to the law courts. In some cases, whatever they want to go and say in the law courts might be well-founded, or they might not be well-founded. But he has a right to go to the law courts. He wouldn't believe it. There was a situation I had with our experience. And a loser said, if that guy had come around to say, hey, we're in this together, he wouldn't have gone to court. But because the winner felt, yes, I have won. I am the big boy now. He will get so mad, he will go to court. So there are instances where within ourselves, we should learn that element of we are in this together. We are talking of Osun State. Everybody in Osun is from Osun State. All the contestants are from Osun State. We're not even talking on a national level. Everybody is from Osun State. If Osun is going to be better, it's not going to be for the governor alone. It's going to be for everybody. So what we need to do, what we need to imbibe is that element of camaraderie. Oh, I have won. Oh, my brother, we are in this together. Yes. Last year, I lost. This year, I won. That is the way life goes on. Maybe next year, your boy, your person will win again. So let us be in this together. That is like here, my brother here, Igwe said. We call him Igwe. Like we said, there is that need for us to be in it together. It is not a unilateral thing. It's a collective thing. If you come and tell me, if I meet him now and maybe he beats me to it, and he comes to tell me, hey, Bola, you've been my friend for ages. We are politicians. There is no way two people will win. It's impossible. Two people can't win. Even if you run a 100 meters dash, they will work it out to 0.0001 seconds. One person must win. So if he comes to me and say, hey, Bola, we're in this together, some other time, or even this government that I'm going to run, it's going to be an all-inclusive government. I'll probably go home and have a nice.
That is quite instructive. Let's take a look at some of the results. They started announcing with the local government, Boluwaduru local government area. I don't know. I get it. You are from
Boluwaduru local government.
Yes, and it's been predicted before the elections that it is going to be a two-horse race,
of course,
and that's just like the return match between. Oyotola and that of Adeleke, and the contest is being on, and the referee will give us the results any moment from now. But the ones available to us here, the first announcement was quite close. 5,649 APC, and then PDP 5,860. What will you make of this? Was it?
It's like what happened in 4 years back. Where the Oyotola won, it was just by infraction. It was by 483 votes. It shows that democracy is at play here. It's highly contested. The people, the electorate, the voters have now sat back and say, okay, I like this man for ABC. I like this man for CDE. So they now went to the ballot and they voted according to their conscience. I like situations where it's that close. That shows democracy.
Exactly. And let me also bring in they just gave him a title, the Igwe. And just on that same line, a fellow local government area, it's a kind of a close one here again. 16,068, then 17,107. It's another close one. So what's informed? Do you think they did a lot of campaigns and this paid off on the last day?
Yes, if you look at the politics of Osun, Osun is a politically vibrant state. Coming out from the former Oyo states, Osun, with a population of about 4 million, has been able to produce politicians of repute in Nigeria. Looking at Bola Ige and others, these are very sound and highly intelligent political aristocrats, so to say, in Nigerian politics. And therefore, Osun is a very active political state. And the people are well informed, so they know what they want. Now, if you look at Governor Oyotola of the APC, is currently the governor in his first term, and now the first term ends on 27th of November this year. Hopefully, he has been out campaigning to see that he returns to power for a second term.
Exactly.
And closely related is Adeleke. Ademola Adeleke, the dancing senator. This is a man that is vibrant and a man whose family has credibility of the electoral process or politicking.
His immediate elder brother was once a governor. It's Isiaka, 1992 to 1993.
So he came from a family that has political background and people respect them. So they are not by any way surprised that this elections is so close. If you look at the last election they had, it was also very close, as Mr. Bola has rightly stated. And therefore, this time around too, with the political permutations of both political parties, especially the PDP and also the APC, they've been able to move in vigorous campaigns. If you look at the generalissimo, so to say, quote unquote, of Nigerian politics, Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Atiku Abubakar, they move in with all their machines to make sure that they do the campaigns and see to the possibilities of returning their candidate. And therefore, to me, this is a wonderful initiative. This is very good for our democracy. The number doesn't matter. In electoral process, even if we win, it shows that it shows the vibrancy of the political parties. So, large numbers shows that, look, there's an overwhelming political party. But in this case, if there's close gap, it shows the vibrancy of the political parties. And I think Nigeria, we're heading to somewhere. I think we are good to go. And I think the results have shown that we're doing well.
Exactly. Let me bring in, it seems you know the the history of Osun
Oh,
too
of
much.
course I do.
Probably partly from there.
No, I'm not from there. I'm from Lagos State.
Okay, but just
I'm a
very
Yoruba
closely.
man.
And
So,
let's
as good
look
as
at
people would-
Elisha West local government. Let's talk about Accord Party. Akin Ogunbinyi. He's been always third from the ones we have seen. What at least for him to be third, the number might not be that close to the two major
two majors,
contenders.
the
But
two majors.
so what political strength can you please, if you know much about him?
I know. You see, the thing is, if you revert back to the elections we've had years back, you will find political parties having 0, having 1, having 2. For him to have gotten 106, it is an improvement. I can remember there was a time a political candidate said, how on earth will I get 1 vote when if I go with my family, we should have been 5? Not to talk of my driver, my cook, and this and that, and my workers, then we should have been 20 something. What I'm telling you here is this: Nigerians are beginning to we are beginning to be politically aware. You know why they don't get too much votes? Because they know that the voter knows that if I vote for this man, I am wasting my vote. We will have some hardcore followers. That is why you have those numbers. And these are the people I like in politics. These are the people that are going to give us political parties later. If you remember what culminated into APC, there were 5 or 6 legacy parties that came together to form APC. If they continue like that, there will come sometime, someday, they will come together with some other bigger parties and form big and strong parties like the APC. So on a serious note, they are doing a good job. The people there are now, take for instance the case of YPP. YPP has a candidate in the National Assembly. That is the beginning of politicking, good core politicking.
Exactly.
And that is what we are seeing here. Like I said, Akin Ogunbinyi, this is not his first time, this is not his second time, he keeps on coming third. If you notice too, the numbers are increasing. He's beginning to have people, voters and followers that believe in his person. Honestly, we are talking about the two majors. We can't afford not to give them that accolade.
Exactly.
But at the same time, we should be looking at the thirds and the fourths, because it is the third and the fourth that is going to make up the further.
And let's talk
party.
about the fourth here. Yusuf, he scored 40 in Elisha West local government. So he was in the APC, but briefly after the party primaries, he defected to Labour Party. And within the few space of time, he was able to at least come forth out of 15. Is quite an achievement. Though he was in the House of Reps, or he's still in the House of Reps. So deputy speaker. So what can we talk about him? We can't just take him off the ladder, because 40 and 4th position out of 15 is quite an achievement.
Yes. You see, Alhaji Yusuf Suleiman Lazazo, former deputy speaker of the Federal House of Representatives, is a political heavyweight. Whether we like it or not, he has been able to stamp his feet in the sand of times in Nigerian politics. For you to be a deputy speaker, you must have been able to garner political experiences and also experiences too.
Of course.
Now, leaving APC because he has not been able to get the ticket because of the current governor, who's an incumbent. And it's not easy to just drop down an incumbent, from that high office where he is.
It's difficult.
So he had to go and test his political might in another political party. And that's the beauty of democracy.
That's right.
He has gone to Labour. I was also thinking that, look, among the league of first 3 or so, Lasso should be there because of political profile, and also because of the of his achievements, solid political achievements that I've been able to read and I've been able to. I've never met him, but I think he has been able to do well. And in politics, this trial is good, because next time, if he decides to come to any of the 2 political parties, he'll be able to test the ground, and the ground has been tested and is running. So with his political structure so far in Osun State, I think he will do well in the next election. But for now, I must commend him for putting a good fight, and also all the political parties. The 16 political parties have been able to
15.
15 have been able to do well. So I think my major concern is the peaceful conduct of these elections.
Yes,
And I have to congratulate the people, INEC, the government, because in those days, elections have been turned to do their affair.
Of course.
People will sit under trees
And write
and write
figures.
figures, and they will say, go and announce. If they want, let them go to court.
Okay.
We know how to deal with it.
Exactly.
So, but now, with this BVAS, you cannot fold your arms and sit arms akimbo in your house and expect any magic. There is no chua.
Another local government is up. Let's take a look at it again. Ayedere, a local government area, and here PDP won with APC won with about 400 and something votes. What can we talk about what strength do they have there? Political figures or just by the voters?
Thank you. In politicking, you cannot rule out the element of home base. When it comes to my own base, if you watch closely, Aki Ogumbi went further by going 1,510.
Sure.
Which is about 20% of the leader. 20% of the leader. That shows you that is his own home base. He's beginning to cut his teeth. Like Igwe here said, political teeth in moving forward. These people are beginning to know him that, okay, this is a politician. This is our politician. This is our son. It's high time we project him.
Exactly.
But it doesn't happen overnight. It will not happen overnight. It takes time. And when it comes to politicking, time in politicking is always 4 years. 4 years. What you do now, you improve on it. You have 4 years to improve on it. That is what gave us those figures we are seeing. That, okay, imagine the two majors. They are still fighting themselves to a standstill. But Aki Ogumbi moved up because that is his own base. He has been able to do more of politicking. And then if we have to look at Yusuf Lasso, maybe he's far away from home. That is why he has 7 votes.
That's quite interesting.
Of course.
So let's also look at if we can get more local governments. We still look at them because there are 30, quite a long list here.
Yeah, we've done about 12 of them now.
I don't think we're even up
This
to.
is 4. We've done 4 tries, 12.
Yeah, that is quite interesting. But okay, we have another one here.
Yes.
Odo Otin, you have to help me out here.
Odo Otin?
Exactly. And yeah, Akin is growing.
Yes.
170 at least is still okay, and Yusuf 219, and
the two
major ones are still overtaking and coming back and all that. 13,000 against 14,000, and that is quite impressive. So who is in charge here in terms of the local government? Is any of the aspirant candidates here in charge of this local government, or just by the mayor campaigns they got to this level?
I will tell you this for free. You see, the two majors are very good at politicking. That is why the numbers are very close. The people are divided along the lines of politicking. I like this man. I like his manifesto. I like what he told me he will do when he gets into power. The other man, I have seen him before. I want him to continue. Those are the tenets of politicking as we speak. And that is shown in the figures. The people are divided along those very, very critical lines of politicking. I love those numbers. I love the numbers. And we cannot shy away from the fact that the Aki Ogumbi you talked about, imagine he has gotten 170 votes. That is on a state level. Honestly, if he goes on a national level, I'll probably add 2 zeros to that 170. Because he will find people that will like his person and then say, okay, this man is good to go. The bottom line is, our politics is work in progress, and Osun State has moved us one step further towards getting it right.
Okay, let me bring in
Igwe.
No, we have cola here. Okay, cola not here. So it goes with the title.
Of course, yeah.
But before the election,
Okay.
people were complaining that the campaign was not that much. Do you think that also affected the turnout and the figures?
No. You see, using any parameter of democratic practice, campaigns under normal circumstances should not be very loud. There are areas or there are times within the campaign time and within election where it will be loud. But these people, they're grassroots areas. They have structures. Once you have a structure from the headquarters to the local government to the ward level, you are in sync and in tune with the political process. And your foot soldiers are the ones that will be doing all the, legwork
Exactly.
for you, campaigning, moving house to house, or from village squares to city centers and to maybe a metropolitan city. So the fact is, these people have been able to move in, especially the two dominant political parties,
Exactly.
the PDP and the APC. They have done very well, and you can see the result.
Like this local government and Borikbe, is this the incumbent governor's local government, Governor Itola's local government, and the figures are quite,
impressive. Like I said earlier,
it's our own. It's our own.
Yes.
And then it's a big endorsement on him. We have seen situations where even your own community sometimes don't vote for their own.
Oh, they go against you because
so for him to score this 21,205 against 7,595 with PDP, the closest 1 year, is a big endorsement. Will this tell us that the man is really at home with his people?
You see, this is what I call landslide.
No moon.
Well, when you expand it will be landslide. But within the political process, I can see my brother Bola is so much in tune and in sync with Akin Ogubi. He likes the man so much. Because then all the analysis.
No, it was our uncle that made a mention of him, and then we're trying to beef him up.
Yes, but getting 91 votes here, it has slowed him down, and I think it's a good political spirit that he should be propped up. But having stated this, for Oyetola to have
21,000,
that's most of if you look at about 4 or 5 local governments that I've seen that we've analyzed so far, it has been able to wipe up almost the whole gap between the PDP and the APC. So this is to tell you that this man has mass grassroots appeal in this area. It is his own.
Yeah.
And in Nigeria, your own is always your own.
Of course, yes.
There is no one that will try to undermine his own, especially a governor that is on seat that maybe has taken so much developments to, because most of our governors, if you look at, they always target their villages and local governments. First, in terms of priority projects, they'll put them there first before going to other areas. Or
charity begins at home.
Charity begins
Of course.
Or consequently, after doing at the state capital, then whatever is the situation, they take care of their area to bring you one development to the other. So with this, they've been able to psych up the minds and psyche of the people, and these people are receptive now to the tunes of his political principles or political package that he has, maybe for continuity. Because if he wins now, there's every possibility of him to say, look, these people, they've given me good votes, and therefore I must take development to the area. So I think it's in the spirit of...
And we have another local government up here, Obokun local government. And PDP leads with 13,000, APC 9,000. So what was responsible here again?
The element of Umtof is still there. When you call Umtof, Obokun is close to a delicate stuff.
That is
It's close to his hometown.
Probably the same senatorial district.
That's right. The idea here is this. The moment you have an appeal, maybe we will get there shortly, but because we are here in the studio, we've been getting figures from all along, all day long, we haven't slept. In the case of Oyetola, the governor, the incumbent governor, at his own place, he had a 21,000 to a 7,000 for a delegate. In other words, that's about maybe 66%. But I'll tell you one thing from the figures we have. When it got to Adeleke's own turf, he did more than 66. He did about 75 and above. So what we're looking at is that element of home turf is playing out. That element of hardcore grassroots politics is playing out. And another thing you can't forget is, honestly, there are some people, there are some politicians, not necessarily partisan politicians. There are some people that say, okay, it's high time, let this other man do it too. Let's see what he's got to offer.
Exactly.
They like both parties. They like both men. But it becomes a case of like Americans say, yeah, I like you, but let me try this guy out. I want to change. Let's try somebody else out. So you find cases like this where the people, they love both parties, but in the name of change, they will say, okay, let's try this man out. And more so, that is his stuff. But the thing is, we're understanding here and we're enjoying here is it's a close call. The electorate is beginning to do wonders.
Exactly.
The electorate is doing wonders in terms of electioneering. They are beginning to come out to vote. I like it when figures are close. When figures are close, it shows that the level of awareness of the electorate is there. You're seeing the level of awareness of the electorate.
And in this particular local government, it's almost a draw. 9 points. Yes, 9,928.
Which is as good as 10,000. Which is as good as 10,000.
So will you say, Chief, since it's Igwe, let me use the word Chief. will you say the people really voted their conscience and they have been enlightened? This close range we are seeing all this while.
You see, a serious minus, especially for Governor Boyega or Itola of the APC, is the internal crisis they had, or they are still having. Up to Friday or Thursday or thereabout, they were still in court, challenging the eligibility of the candidature of Itola. And that is a serious minus. In a serious minded political party, I would have loved a situation where the national chairman or the leadership of the party should have called the former governor, who is the arrowhead of the other group, to come to terms with Boyega or Itola to confront the current political situation.
Opposition, yes.
But that crisis has been able to, bring a kind of misunderstanding.
Division, yeah.
Yes, division. That has not been able to place the party in proper perspective that should, under normal circumstances, the former governor had a lot of followers, whether we like it or not, or the other team. So if they decide not to vote for Itola,
it will be a sharp drop.
Exactly. It will be a sharp drop. And that is what we're seeing in some of these areas. Whether we like it or not, you see, Governor Itola has tried his best in the last 4 years. And there's every possibility that the people of the state might be yearning for change. That's why in some areas you see Adeleke having more votes, Itola having. But the beauty is, what I like is that in almost all the local governments, there is democracy in action.
Mm-hmm.
Almost all the local government, you find out that APC and PDP have always been having mass votes. I've not seen anywhere that PDP goes zero or APC goes zero.
Mm-hmm.
They are close range. So that is still the democracy in action. And the people must be commended for giving the state or giving Nigeria a very peaceful, credible political process that INEC has been able to produce. And I think, in all honesty and fairness, we must commend INEC. I always commend them for doing a good job. But that is, but we've not arrived at the destination yet. It is an improving process. They must stand up, be updoing, look at the loopholes and plug them in. See to the possibilities of getting experiences from all the elections so that they prepare themselves towards 2023.
And you mean what you have just said is that the opposition parties took advantage of the misunderstanding within the APC in the state during the campaigns, and that has probably jumped their figures up?
Of course. Any house that is divided against itself is bound to collapse. So, to me, There should have been a kind of mediatory role that should have been played by the leadership of the party, so as to bring all the parties together. But under this circumstance, we've not seen that leadership profile come up. And also, you see, in these 15 political parties, virtually, I've seen just about 2 or 3 that will be able to organize rallies towards the end of the mass rallies towards the end of the before the elections. I'm surprised that the SDP man, who a lot of people have been clamoring, Omigudon or Oyegoke, a lot of people were thinking that he would do as much as what the former governor of Ekiti. Is it Ni or
Fire share.
No.
No,
The
minister.
do you know Shegun Oni flawed PDP in Ekiti? It was only the APC that defeated him. He kept second. So even that coming of second, people were thinking of vote buying and all that. I was expecting that SDP should have given a good fight like that one Ekiti. But unfortunately, we've not seen the political party organize rallies to mop up, to bring up this, because even these rallies is going to introduce even the presidential candidate to the people. Nigerians will know him. But unfortunately, apart from that one, almost all the political parties succeed, apart from PDP and APC that went to show of force. None of them have been able to do rally. I don't know whether it's because of economic predicaments, whether they don't have the resources, I don't know. But it's part of democracy. If you want democracy to succeed, you must have rallies to ginger support for your parties for electoral victory.
Okay, let's look at this one again. Lorunda local government, and the gap is not much. 18,709, and that's of 21,350. And your man, I can say our man, Akin is also growing. 200 and 200.
What I like is the element of upcoming. I love the element of upcoming. Everybody is so bothered about the 2 majors. Let us look at the upcoming ones. You see, in my mind, I was trying to do an arithmetic of, let me try and add up the 13 votes, the 13 other parties, if they will get close to these 2 majors. The other thing is they fall short, really. They fall short. But the idea is they are beginning to move forward. If we look at it in the context of local government by local government, there are instances where the other 13 were close to them. That is what makes me happy in politics. It becomes a situation where people are beginning to vote according to their conscience. But the thing is, what we are particular about is we're talking about the 2 majors, and the same thing is still happening. It is a close call between the 2 of them. It is a good one. I still maintain it that it is good for politicking that they are very close to one another. While we wait for what the INEC office, what the Oshobo is going to tell us about the final result, at least what we are seeing now is good for politicking. I would like to say one word by reverting back to what my brother Modibo here said, that APC gave out its votes for free. I didn't want to go there because I was more interested in these numbers, these close call numbers. There is what is called sympathy vote. There is what is called apathy. Apathy, I'm not voting. Sympathy vote means, okay, you did this to me. I'll make sure you lose. I'm going to the other house.
Sure.
I am going to the other house. Sure. That's why we have all these close calls. I am going to the other house. Like you rightly said, even outside
Thursday, Friday,
maybe 20 hours to elections, there were still, if you in the news, we keep hearing things. People are saying, we're all in this together. We're all members of the same party. We're going to dance to the rules and regulations of the party. But I'll tell you this, when it comes to human beings, we have mindsets. We have things we will do. We have situations where we say, okay, I will pay you back.
exactly.
Sure, I will pay you back. Yeah. And like you rightly said, those are things you should not allow to happen in a political party. He just said it that. What is the job of the party chairman? What are you doing?
Yes, exactly. I think they are learning as well.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they are definitely learning because while we were introducing this program, I made mention that the outcome of Osun governorship election or the process at this moment will definitely will come up with some lessons
Of
for
course.
both candidates and political parties.
Of course.
And with the figures we are seeing, all political parties are trying to take a look at themselves, retrace their steps where necessary, and prepare for a better outing going forward.
Learn as they go on.
But that is just it. Politics is sometimes like business. You bear the risk and the benefits.
And then you make up for it
So, yes,
afterwards.
we learn every day. There's no destination.
That's right. That's right.
So if we still have more local governments, but in the Electoral Act, precisely Section 25, results are declared at about 3 to 4 stages. The polling units, you announce there, you go to the ward, you announce, then you go to LG, you announce, then to the state collation center. And that was quite a long process. But with the transfer of results now, sometimes you see that result even 20 to 30, sorry, let's say 10, 15 hours even before the actual result. Do you think that is a major element that has increased confidence of the electorate in the process?
You know, to give the electoral process credibility and also the human face, this is one issue that the current government has set to do so that Nigeria will be able to have a clean electoral process devoid of controversies, free, fair, and credible elections. Because this is a very important leg in our political process. You must be transparent. That's why the stages have been set. You announce 1, 2.
I think, sorry, let me cut in here because the moment we have been waiting for, I think, is getting closer. Just like a woman that we are taking to a labor room. Let's go to the collation center and see what